As a child, we all long for a hero. As a society as a whole, we search for that leader that can be our hero. But as we mature and as we grow, it dawned on us that the hero is inside every one of us. And in the world's social media, we all start at zero. And slowly we search deep within ourselves to find who we are. And we have that moment of truth where we embrace that the hero that we've been searching for has been there all along. It is living deep inside of every one of us. And we start embracing that journey and we become that hero that we search for.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 62 of Zero to Hero. We've got another great guest coming at you today. We're about a week late on his birthday, so I want to start off by wishing a very happy birthday to the President of Chief of Staff, Casey Wright. Here he is. Casey, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm good, Gino. Thanks, and thanks for the birthday wishes.
Absolutely. So beautiful day here in Kansas City. Obviously, you guys have a beautiful office that you're taking a look at there, or that you're working out of there. But tell us a little bit about what you guys do at Chief of Staff, Casey.
Yeah, so we're a recruiting firm. We're based in Brookside. We've been in business for a little over 11 years now. We focus as much as possible on Kansas City and Kansas City-based companies. We like to take care of our own, the local folks here, but we have 4 different divisions currently. We've got a finance and accounting group, sales and operations, and HR and administrative, but we also partner with a number of other firms here around town for other areas that we don't specialize in, but we do everything from entry level to executive level, everything in between.
That's fantastic. So kind of a full spectrum there. If you're looking for employment or you're looking for a good employee, it's kind of a one-stop shop. They can come to you and get those things taken care of.
Absolutely.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about you, Casey. So not necessarily Chief of Staff Casey, but in a couple sentences, who are you?
A couple sentences. I'm born and raised a Kansan. I've lived in Kansas my whole life outside of studying abroad in Ireland for a few months back in college.
Very cool.
I like taking care of people. I like working hard. I'm competitive, but I think I'm compassionate too. I love surrounding myself with people smarter than me, and that hasn't been too difficult thus far. I've got a killer team here at Chief of Staff, and honestly, I count my blessings every day that I get to work with these folks.
That's fantastic, man. Ireland, I'm pretty jealous. I know you're a sports guy as well. I got to ask, what was the golf like in Ireland?
Oh, it's phenomenal. Actually. Day before my wedding, I wouldn't really call it a bachelor party, but I got married in Ireland, and we played a course called Old Head, which is pretty close to where we got married. And I've been there, I think, 4 times now, and it's the prettiest place I've ever been in my life. There's most avid golfers will debate the 2 prettiest courses in the world, and Old Head is one, and the other is a place I haven't been to yet, but it's called Cape Kidnappers. It's in New Zealand, so I'm hoping to make it to that one sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to make that happen. That'd be a fun trip. That's awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about your social media journey. So with Chief of Staff, but also just with your personal brand as well.
Yeah, so I wasn't really big into social media for a long time. I'll age myself here, but I was in college when Facebook came out. I'll be honest, Facebook, what it started as to what it's become now is drastically different.
Absolutely.
And, my first handful, it was meet people out and about, and I want to go see who that was he saw at the bar last night. And next thing you know, you connect them on Facebook, and it was just very social. When I first got into my career, everyone was very adamant about keeping your personal and your professional life separate. And I was coached that nonstop. And ultimately, I totally changed my opinion on that. Now, there's a level of professionalism that you're not going to dive into some really personal stuff in your first meeting or in an interview or whatever. But at the end of the day, people want to work with people that they get along with, whether that's internally or your clients or whatnot. People work with those that have similar values to them. I just remember, I started getting like Facebook requests a few years into my career. And at that time, my boss was like, "Oh, you can't connect to these people." That was a big no-no. Eventually, I was like, "Nah, screw it." And I started accepting them. And I remember at one point, I got asked to go on a fishing trip. And at this point, I wasn't really much of a fisherman. I liked the outdoors, but I didn't grow up really doing it. And I caught a big fish and I posted it on Facebook. And next thing you know, I start getting all these people reaching out to me like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you're such an avid fisherman. And these are, clients that I haven't talked to in years. I was like, we should go fishing someday. I was like, absolutely. And then I started realizing, and I started leaning into it more. I like to travel. My wife and my kids and I, we travel a lot. We don't get to see all of our extended family nearly as much as we'd like, and they want to see our pictures. So I post pictures a lot when we go places, and I'm not the daily poster of this is what I had for lunch today or anything, but things that I want to share, and honestly, it helps me track my life too. So.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love what you brought up there, about that shift between the personal and the professional, because I think as a country, or really as a world, we kind of saw that shift during COVID.
For sure.
People connect more and know more who was behind that. When did you see that shift? Was it during that COVID period or was it before?
I definitely saw it before, but it enhanced tremendously during COVID. At that point, COVID was really weird because I knew a lot of people. Take this, for example. You and I are meeting for the first time today virtually, and call it social media, call it technology, just the advancement in general. And there were all sorts of people that I met and got to know during COVID that I'd never met in person, via different Zoom meetings and podcasts and different forums like this. And then I'd run into them out and about in public, and I'm like, we know each other, but we've never actually shook hands or given each other a hug or whatever it is. And so it's definitely changed, just interactions in general. But I'm pretty old school. I miss the in-person. I was very glad when we got back to that.
Absolutely. Yeah, we are at J29 too. We're like, hey, let's not do the Zoom. Come on in. Right?
Yeah.
We're ready to see you again for sure. It is so funny though. I mean, you develop these relationships with people on the internet, right? Social media or whatever it is, right? And then you see them in person, and it is almost like that. Like for example, I met somebody that I met virtually for the first time at the small business event, Chamber of Commerce the other day, and it was a hug immediately. And it's like,
isn't that funny?
We know each other, but this is our first time actually being in person together. So yeah, it's very interesting for sure.
Yeah, I've had a number of occasions recently where someone will approach me in public and they're like, "You're Casey Wright, aren't you?" I was like, "Who's asking?" How do you know? Like, well, I just know you from LinkedIn or this or that. I was like, "Oh yeah, absolutely. This is who I am." So.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And people know you, right? Just by putting yourself out there. That's fantastic. So talk a little bit about Chief of Staff's social media journey as well. Obviously, those things like we're mentioning are kind of intermingled, but it's yeah.
Yeah. So we've done a lot with SEO. We've got some good friends and partners that have helped us out quite a bit in that. We took an approach early on, like, let's make it, lighthearted, and we want to provide value, and we certainly believe and know that we do that. But I think so much of what people put out there is just wordy content that's like, all right, that's enough. Like, I'll go get a business book if I want to read all of this. And it's just here we're very transparent. I mean, that's one of our biggest core values here is just you can see who we are. We are who we are. So we have fun. We work hard though too. And so we've got Kendall now here internally. She's helping us out a lot with marketing. She's done a phenomenal job. She's a former school teacher, and a lot of school teachers have made a transition in the last couple of years. Yeah. And she's got the creative mind and has done phenomenal with it. But I'm not going to sit here pretending like I'm the one that manages all of what we do on social media. But every once in a while, I'll be like, wait, did we really just put that out? But so far, it's been very well received.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you can't be an expert with everything, right? So it's good to have those people that are able to get out there. And that makes so much sense coming from a teaching background to posting on social media, right? Being that you're used to kind of that younger culture and seeing what they've got going on. So I'm sure that's going to translate for you guys for many years into the future as those kiddos enter the workforce as well, right? She knows those people. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, Casey, every superhero has a defining moment. What do you think yours is when it comes to your life and career?
Defining moment. Well, not to go too dark, but I lost my mom suddenly when I was in high school. So New Year's Day, my senior year of high school, and life was very easy before that. Easy. I mean, we all had our ups and downs, but Great family, married parents that have been together since junior high. I'm the youngest of three. My siblings were grown and gone, and then all of a sudden, I figure I gotta figure this out. I was planning on playing football in college, and then I got hurt in an all-star game going into my freshman year of college. So
Oh man,
I lose my mom, I lose my football career, and I was like, okay, now we got to figure a different way of doing things. And I decided to study psychology in college, and that's primarily because I was so blown away by how many people were there for me when I was going through a difficult time. People that I didn't know that well. And I was new to town. Like, I'd moved to Kansas City after my sophomore year of high school. But all of the parents of my friends and the faculty and coaches, and they just bent over backwards to take care of me. And I felt a duty, a responsibility to get into a field where I can make a difference in people's lives too. And so I thought I was going to be a psychiatrist. That was actually my plan. And I did well studying psychology. I really enjoyed it, but ultimately I figured that'd be too darn depressing all day, every day.
Yeah.
I think I'm a therapist more than anything else now in my role, but I like to tell people, I think the three of the biggest decisions you'll ever have to make in your life are your house, your spouse, and your career. And we get to have a huge impact on one of those. It's not something to take lightly. It's an honor, but it's a really important role that we have. And I think people don't always recognize that, but we have a huge ability to change the trajectory of someone's livelihood.
Yeah, absolutely. And somebody that's, been through the job market several times. I mean, my last stop before J29, there was a 2-month gap where I was really looking for that right fit. And to be honest, I didn't know companies like chief of staff existed at that time, right?
Most
Where it might
people
have been
don't.
a little bit of an easier stop, right? But
Yeah.
It's difficult, right? And it's a difficult market out there, and to have somebody, to have your back, right, when you're
For
going
sure.
through that job search, or even as an employer that is really needing to fill, a key role or any role, to have that third party there is, I can see being extremely beneficial and really, helping people out. So that's awesome, man. That's a great point for sure.
Yeah.
Now, Casey, every superhero has attributes, right? What are the attributes that you feel define what a hero is?
Ooh. Curiosity. I'm very inquisitive. I'm a firm believer in knowledge is power. I can't tell you how many times in my career I've asked somebody, well, what do you know about XYZ? They're like, well, why does that matter? I say, I don't know, but I think it's very important to know that you don't know what you don't know. And so I'm always trying to gather information, and I'm always trying to find ways to help people that may not be what your typical recruiter does. I think most people think of recruiters as, here's a resume, here's a job description, let's match them up and get paid a fee for placing somebody. I think of that as a very small part of what I do. I like to joke around about 92% of what I do is pro bono work, is just making connections and trying to help people out, being, a voice, being someone to listen to what they have to say. And by getting to know these people better and better, we're going to know where they're going to be a better fit. We're going to know what type of people are going to fit in better with their team. So, it's just constantly going out there and gathering knowledge.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it sounds like you guys, here at J29, we kind of take that like holistic approach to marketing, right? It's not one thing here. And it sounds like you guys are really taking that same approach with your job seekers of, this is not a cut and dry thing. There's so many layers to the onion that we need to peel back and really find out who you are and where the right spot for you is going to be. So
Sure.
That's so awesome. And I think, when you've got that third party too, that can kind of look into you and see who you are, right? Kind of like we do with companies that we go into is, hey, this is who you think you are. This is who you actually are right over here. So, and it happens so frequently. I could see that being an extremely, extremely powerful tool for them. That's awesome.
I would say empathy would probably be the other one. I think that's something I personally feel most people lack, or not most people, but in the business world is not as readily available as it should be. And you never know exactly what someone's dealing with, so you can't sit there and say, I know exactly how you're feeling. No one knows, but you need to be able to recognize that they're dealing with something.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely something that the world needs quite a bit more of than
Yes.
we've got right now. I 100%
sure.
agree with you. Now, Casey, if you had to pick a superhero that best relates to you, who would that be, and tell us why?
There's a lot of answers for that. And I think if you took a survey of my friends and family and colleagues, they would give you some very different answers. I'll tell you that a bunch of my buddies back in college used to call me Mr. Incredible. And the reason for that is I am very torso heavy. You know, I'm long torso, shorter legs. You know, I've got a big brother that's almost 6 years older than me, and we're almost the exact same size, you know, height and weight and everything. We have been for years, but everyone thinks I'm way bigger than him because I'm shoulders and, you know, I'm top heavy. He was a pitcher, and so he's got a big old pitcher's butt and pitcher's legs, but so I would say Mr. Incredible is what I've been called the most. You know, I was a linebacker and a fullback back in the day, and so that, you know, maybe Hulk. I don't know. I wasn't a finesse guy, I guess.
the Brian Urlacher, Mike Allstott. I could see that with you for sure. A big bruiser. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, that's good. It's funny. Our guest Tuesday, I think, said Elastigirl. So it's really funny.
Yeah.
But Casey, man, thank you so much for coming on the show. Tell people out there how can they keep up with Chief of Staff? How can they get involved with what you guys are doing? And if they are looking for a job or looking for employees, how can they get in touch with you?
It's chiefofstaffkc.com, and we've got LinkedIn, we've got Facebook, we've got Instagram. I think we even have TikTok. That's not something I'm real familiar with, but feel free to reach out anytime. We love hosting people here. We got a very open door policy. We're here in Brookside. I think we've got a great office. We like to take a casual approach and just get to know people. You know, it's not necessarily a client meeting or an interview. It's let's talk to people, get to know them, see how we can help them out one way or another.
That's perfect. I love that so much, man. Thank you again for coming on the show. You are an awesome guest.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Hey, are we still live? Hey guys, we're still live. Hey guys, this is Kevin Kwok, founder of J29 Creative Group. So who are we? We're a marketing agency here in Kansas City. We're all about a holistic approach to marketing that builds your brand and nurtures online community. But to be honest with you, you guys don't care.